Scuttling in with head men's basketball coach Josh Schertz for our weekly report. Coach, got a lot to talk about as always, so let's jump right in. I want to look back first to Saturday, probably one of the most highly anticipated games in the NCAA Division II last week. Fourth-ranked Rail Splitters go over to Queens to play the sixth-ranked Royals, and it really didn't live up to the hype, I guess, and it was for the best reason for us. Come away with a 92-66 victory to clinch our fourth straight SAC championship and fifth in the last 6 seasons. So just talk about that performance.
Well, I thought our guys played really well. We came out of the gates and I thought really we're flying around defensively and had a high level of focus, high level effort. I thought really we're locked in, and that was a real positive. I think. Obviously, Queens probably didn't play as well as they're capable of. I think we had something to do with that, but certainly I think they missed some shots that they normally make, and that allowed us to get separation early, and we were playing with a lead, really from the first few minutes of the game, and so. But to our guys' credit, really, had a couple of lulls, but they were just possessions here, possessions there. Really about as complete a 40 minutes as we put together all year, and so it was really, again, just proud of our guys for how they went out, how they competed, and obviously performed. We talked last week. It seems as though challenges bring out the best in these guys and have over the years, and certainly anytime they get a chance to kind of go out and play on a big stage, they seem to play their best basketball. So that's a good quality to have for a team. And again, I think it was a combination. Obviously, Queens an outstanding team. Just was a night where they didn't play as well as they're capable of, and I thought we played at a high level.
Well, now you look at this, 4 straight Southland Conference championships. No team had ever won 3 straight before. We did it last year. Obviously a huge accomplishment. You sit at 20-0 in conference play. What does it mean to be able to do that with this particular group?
Well, I think when you look at it in a 4-year window, you really, for me, probably go back 6 or 7 years. You're just amazed by the quality not only of the player we've been able to have, but the quality of people that we've had inside the program. To have won this league 5 of the last 6 years, 4 years in a row, to win 20+ games 7 years in a row at this level is incredibly difficult, and it's just amazing. Again, the run of guys we've had, and its talent is not enough, and certainly talent and chemistry is really not even enough. It's the talent we've had, the chemistry, the type of people those guys are, and obviously the intelligence and the competitive will. It's all those things together, and we've just been on an amazing run of landing guys that kind of check those boxes, and so it's just I'm obviously really just more awed by the things that obviously this group has done to be 20-0 in this league, where you have, I think, 4 of the 12 teams have been nationally ranked at some point this year. I think it's certainly the best in my 8 years here, and I think people that have been around longer than I have say it's probably the best it's been in the history of the league. To win 20 games in a row is mind-blowing, and again, all credit goes to the players. I mean, they're the ones who have to go out and do it. Basketball's a player's game. I've never been one of those coaches that's dumb enough to think it's about me or about what I'm doing. It's certainly the players are the ones that have to go out and rebound and score, and we put them in position to try to do things and encourage them to do things, but ultimately it's about them going out and executing and doing the job. They're the ones who got to go out and play in front of all that pressure and on the big stage. And again, just over the years, just awed by what they've accomplished, and this group, again, in particular, obviously it's kind of still writing its story. I think the ending's to be determined, but to win a South Atlantic Conference championship, I think people don't. We came into the season with a lot of questions, losing Lorenza, who was the All-American Player of the Year, losing KP, who was an All-Conference player and a pro, and then to kind of come back and lose that first game to King and look pretty bad doing it. And there was all these questions kind of surrounding our program, and for these guys to put this type of run together, and just like I said, I'm amazed by it, and it's been really, for me, cool to kind of have a courtside seat and watch these guys perform all year.
Well, and then up to this point, like you said, you guys have taken care of business in the 20-0 in conference play, SAC champions. And now you can kind of, with the last week of the regular season upon us, there could be some really awesome accomplishments coming down the road. How do you keep your team focused on, remain focused on that individual, the next game, next man up kind of mentality, and instead of looking ahead to maybe a grander prize?
Well, I think, obviously the thing we talked about with our guys this week was when we got together on Monday was that, the two really kind of goals this week. One is, what's the level that we need to get to, and I think, Queens was probably our most complete game. Was that an anomaly? Is that an aberration? Or is that, kind of who we're going to become? Because you need to play at that level consistently to achieve your ultimate goal. And our ultimate goal was never to win the league. And, it's about getting to that level and being able to consistently produce at that level. So that's the task moving forward. And I reminded them last year, I felt like it was really about the same time we went to Carson Newman, played Carson Newman, and that was our only loss of the year to that point, and we went in and won it by 30 at Holt Fieldhouse and played just a remarkably good game, much like we played at Queens, and won that game by 30, and that was really it, and so when you look back on that season, won 30 games, made the NCAA tournament, won the league, but from that point on, things really kind of went downhill. And did we learn from what happened last year and understanding that we don't want to let the same thing happen to us, and as long as you have basketball to play, and we do have basketball ahead of us, your best moment should be ahead of you. Let's not let the Queens win or winning the championship be the highlight of the year. Let's have things to look forward to. So hopefully that's our focus, is about the level that we got to get to achieve our ultimate goal. Can we do that consistently? And our guys understand, that obviously they have a chance to run the table, and certainly there's 2 games this week, but I think it's one of those things where if you look ahead or take things for granted, in this league, you're going to get beat, and it happens every Wednesday and every Saturday. You look at a result and you go, how in the world, did that happen? And the reality is, because everybody in the league, 1 through 12, is good. Everybody's got good players. Everybody's got really good coaches. Everybody works hard. So if you don't come in with a proper mentality, you're going to get beat. And so from our guys' standpoint, it's about the level we got to get to, standing it consistently. And I think if we do that, then we have a chance to the history and running the table and all that stuff. That's only going to come if we take care of the first thing, which is building on Queens and not letting that just be, because the same team against Mars Hill was down 11, in the first half, because we weren't doing any of those things. And so, again, we've got to do it consistently, and that's got to become who we are, not just who we are on the big stage.
Well, and let's look ahead to this last week. You go to Anderson tomorrow, a team that's been up and down the first year of Jeff Brookman's tenure, but they have won 2 of their last 3, coming off a 78-70 win over Lenore Ryan, one of those you talked about maybe where you say, well, how did that happen? But so talk about, obviously, the game against Anderson. When we played them here, we made a big run at the end of the first half and really iced that game to get the victory. So obviously talk about the challenge of going to Anderson.
Well, I think it's first it's a difficult place to play. Over the years they get great crowds. Not a big place, but it's very loud, much like Holt Fieldhouse, where it's got great acoustics and it's smaller and it can get rocking in there. I'm sure they'll be excited, for the game down there, just because of the history with the 2 programs. There's, we've had some really really big games over the years, so I'm sure that the fans will be excited for that one. Jeff's done a really good job. They got an extremely young team. It's just a very difficult year to be young in this league when you look at it. You got veteran teams for the most part at the top, teams that are senior laden, with probably the exception of Wingate. So it's a difficult year to have a really young group, and they've kind of fought through. You look at their season, and really kind of typical of younger teams, they play much better at home. You look at their record, you say, well, they're 7-19, but they're 7-6, inside of the Abbey Center. So all their wins have come at home. They're a team that plays much better on its home court. As you said, they've won 2 out of 3 against quality competition, beat Catawba, and then turn around and beat a really good Lenoir Rhine team that right now is an NCAA tournament team. So Jeff's done a good job with a young group. Obviously, Randall Shaw is a tremendous player. I think probably he or Mike Baez will be the freshman of the year in the league. Both those guys are terrific, and Randall's averaging like 19 a game in league play. Maurice Howard, Lex Davis just scored 23 against Lenoir Rhine. They got inside play with Rakesh Taylor. They just got a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of good pieces, and they mix up defenses and really are playing hard and playing well at the end of the season. And from their standpoint, I think it's about obviously finishing strong. I think they got an outside chance with some help to make the conference tournament still if they win their last 2 games. So we expect them to be at their best and be excited to play. We're going to have to be at our best, and certainly all of our focus attention is to be on them. And I think it is. As we go to work, everything's on what we got to do to play well, because the first time they controlled the game for the most part. As you said, we were down 28-24, 5 minutes to go in the first half. We rip off an 18-0 run, and that was the game. It never really got above 17, never got below 9. It just kind of stayed in there. Shaw gave us 27, hit 6 threes. Maurice Howard got the rim pretty well. We didn't do a very good job against them. We had a good 5-minute spurt, but really outside of the 5-minute spurt, the other 35 minutes, you could certainly make the case they were the better team.
Well, and then you wrap up the regular season here against Catawba. Obviously, we don't want to get too much into the logistics of that game, but it will be Senior Day. Going to honor that group, which has been a very special group in a lot of ways. So talk about those guys.
Yeah, really, really special group. You look at these guys coming through, and I'll kind of go in order of the years they've been here. But Curtis McMillian, 5 years, and watching him grow, he's developed, having his best year as a 5th-year senior, as you would hope, and he's a guy that's just is not only a really good player, he's really probably one of the funniest guys on the team, and certainly is the butt of many jokes, but he also gives as good as he gets, and he really helps keep us loose. Tim Pierce is a guy that hasn't maybe had the success in the court that that we thought early, but Tim's a guy that I think if opportunity presents itself here late in the year, we'll be ready to go. He's always been first class. Tim's not a guy who pouts. He's going to be successful in life. He's a good student. He's a great kid, and he's a guy that I've really enjoyed the last 4 years. Won a lot of games here at LMU, and certainly really early in his career was a huge impact in that winning. And again, as maybe things haven't gone his way his senior year, you could see guys fading away, and Tim's not done that at all, and that's really a credit to who he is and the type of character he has. Jarrell Simmons, arguably one of the great stories in college basketball, walk-on at Brevard. Comes here, pays his way for a year, and here the last 2 years he's our 6th man last year. Averaged about 10 points a game, and here he is as a senior, and leading us in scoring, averaged over 20 points a game. He's just been remarkable, and he's a guy that it's not due to anything outside of just an unbelievable work ethic and competitive will, competitive spirit. He's just a guy that, he's not a great athlete. He's not super fast. Doesn't jump out the gym. He's not strong. He's not big. He just unbelievably works on his game at an unbelievable work ethic. Works on his game relentlessly, and he's a great competitor. You don't have to worry about Jarrell not being ready to go. And so the last 2 guys really, Curtis Webb is going to walk with those guys. Kurt has a year of eligibility, but he's going to, he's been accepted, going to go to dental school. He graduates. He redshirted. He'll graduate here in 4 years and head off to dental school. And Kurt's just been probably as underrated a guy as we've had, because statistically you look at him and you say, what does he get done? And then you watch him. The guy, his defensive versatility, he gives us so much versatility on the floor. Again, allows us to play small. He can guard 1 through 4 easily. He's probably the toughest guy in our program. He's just a guy that every time he steps in the lines, he's an unbelievable competitor. He's got a great level of toughness and lifts that, and the people around him. He's a guy that's probably made 45% of his threes over the 3 years. He doesn't take many, but he seems to make them in big moments, and he's just a guy that affects winning. You know, you don't look at it numerically, but he certainly affects winning, and we'll miss him, certainly. And then Jalen, you know, who's been here just a few months, transferred in from Mississippi State, and anytime you have something like that, where you have a team where you have really all high school guys who've been here for a long time, you get a transfer in from the SEC who's got 1 year left, and you just wonder how it's all going to mix. And credit to Jalen, credit to our guys that it's been a seamless transition. You know, our guys have accepted Jalen. There's not been any, you know, jealousy or you know what's he getting, what am I getting, and on Jalen's part, a lot of credit to him because he's really worked hard, even starting this summer, to ingratiate himself with these guys and be one of the guys and not carry himself like, you know, I played at Mississippi State. I was a starter. I was in the SEC. You know, this is my, you know, deal. And Jalen's been great about that. And so, you know, he's come in and certainly he's been thrust into a difficult role playing point guard, you know, which is not a position he's ever played before, and having to learn everything on the fly and having an impact as a new player winning, which is something very rare here, that we have a guy that comes in that has to play major minutes, and he's done that. So, and certainly we wouldn't be, you know, SAC champs in 24-2 without Jalen. So very proud of all those guys. It'll be a very bittersweet day Saturday. Very proud of them. It's certainly very sad to regular season game here at home, but hopefully we can, you know, have a long way to go beyond that, and we'll finish this thing the right way. I'd love for it, not just for us and for the, you know, the program, but really because of the quality of those 5 young men.